Now that you've written some instances down where you wanted approval and wanted to control, let me just explain how to use this worksheet. What you'll be doing is focusing on that specific time. For example, there's an example here at the party. You'll be thinking of that time and seeing what gets stirred up, which want gets stirred up when you think about that specific time, either the wanting approval or the wanting to control. For instance, the example here says, regarding the party, I wanted them to like me. Well, that would be coming from the wanting approval. And so what you'll be doing is focusing on the wanting approval or the wanting to control, allowing that to release to completion, then checking that off on your let go column, and carrying on until you've let go of all of the wanting approval and all of the wanting to control, until you feel good about that incident. So let's do some work on this together now. So those of you at home, remember to keep releasing along, whether I'm working with somebody here or you're watching somebody releasing from another class.
Yeah, under the approval, I put when I said I had taken a new job, I have to tell everybody about it to see how they feel about it, and I guess that's wanting approval. I feel fine about it now, though.
Did you release it?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you give me another
one? For approval, there's not really a whole lot. I find that I want to control a lot.
Okay, so you're not really, you can't think of one right now, you're having fun.
For approval, not really,
Okay.
For control,
okay.
when I had to sign a new lease just the other day, I went in there very determined that I was going to get the better of the deal. So I wanted to control the situation. It actually worked out good in my favor, but so I don't know whether that's negative or positive. I wanted to control, and I did.
Yeah.
So.
we sometimes get fooled that the wanting to control is doing something positive. But anyway, go see if you can let yourself feel any of your wanting to control. Okay. Could you allow it to release? Okay.
What I find with that, at least that particular situation, I felt good about it, but I also felt kind of pushy about it too. So,
yeah.
Not that that's really negative, but...
Yeah, well, can you get a sense of any of the pushiness right now?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that the wanting to control?
Yeah.
Did you just release some of it?
That feels really good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real drive in me, the wanting to control.
Right.
That feels good to be in control.
Right. And when you let it go, have anyone noticed that you feel more in control when you let go of wanting to control?
Yeah, definitely. There's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Terry.
I'm releasing.
Okay. Moving right along. Did you want to tell us what you're releasing on?
Sure. I'd like to share that.
Okay.
I wrote down 2 things for approval, but I think they stem into just the one. I need my mother's approval about everything, as far as I want her to see me as an adult, you know. And that just about covers it. Just from the time I was a teenager on, that's, well, actually, all my life, I guess. I'm just always seeking that approval.
Okay. And are you aware of some now?
Aware of some, what how do you mean?
Can you feel it, the wanting approval?
I don't know, I've been letting it go the whole time, so.
Right. Let's see if there's any left right now of that wanting approval.
A little.
Okay. Could you allow it to release? Good. Okay, now, well, think of your mother again.
I see her smiling.
Did you see her smiling? Okay, good.
Good. Good. This is really nice.
Yeah,
This is nice.
okay, what about the control?
Okay, this was a really trying time for me when we moved. This is the first time I was controlling everything, you know, other moves I'd doing with my folks or whatnot. This was, me as an adult. and I guess this is wanting approval also. You know, I want everybody to see me as an adult, but I wanted everything to work in our benefit, to our benefit. I wanted to control everything. Wanted everything to just to go like clockwork.
Right.
And it eventually worked out.
Right.
You know, there were some trying times, but
Yeah. So see if you can allow yourself to be aware of some of your wanting control.
it's gone. Oh, I needed this 3 months ago. I feel so light.
Yeah, you just, as soon as you allow it to come into awareness, it just
Yes.
leaves.
Oh, wow, this is nice. Oh.
Good.
Okay. And one other was once we finally got here, neither one of us had a job.
Mhm.
Oh, that was really stressful. We only had like $200,
Yeah.
you know, and we had just paid for rent and everything, so we were good for a month, but, you know, it took me a couple of weeks to find a job. No, actually, I take that back. It took me about 3 days. And I got the job at Butterfield's, but my husband didn't get a job for 6 weeks. So that, you know, even though I had some income coming in, he didn't have any income coming in, and that was really rough. It was
Okay.
a rough time.
So then did that stir up your wanting to control?
Yeah.
Can you allow yourself to be aware of some of it now?
Oh, wow.
You just released it, right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Great. Now just see if there's any more. Just think of that situation again. Is there any more?
I just let it go again. It's gone.
Good.
Oh, I feel so much better.
Good.
Thank you.
Take one more check.
Um,
Just check the situation.
there's no more concern.
All
There's
right,
no
great.
more
So you
worry.
can let it all go, and you probably feel okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you can give
do.
yourself 2 checks.
I think this was something that's been a long ways back, and that's wanting approval from my father.
Uh-huh.
That carries over into other relationships, too.
Right.
And
So are you?
I feel great about it right now. As I was listening and going through this, and the thoughts went back, and I could visualize my parents sitting where they normally sit most of the day now, and I don't feel like I have their approval, but I also don't feel like it makes a great bit of difference anymore.
That's great. Okay.
I feel good about it.
Good.
Feel good about it.
Good. Terrific. Now, do you feel loving towards them?
Yes, very much so.
Right. That's the key. When you totally let go of your wanting approval, you feel love. And then it doesn't matter what the other person does.
Yes, because I do feel that.
Right.
I do feel that.
Great. Good. Did you give yourself 2 checks? For letting it all go and feeling okay?
I just did.
Good. What
The
about
other is control.
Mhm.
I've gone through all my life where just work hard. Never worried about anything. And money was always there. Then I reached a stage in my life where money wasn't there anymore. And the frustrations of wanting to control that situation and get it back under control and to handle it. And I feel a greater peace today than I have done in a long time.
Okay. Let's see if you can become aware of some of the wanting to control relating to that. Did you just release some?
I think the feeling is you center on it and it
Right.
it slips
Yeah.
out real big.
See, the thing is, releasing takes no effort.
No.
All the effort that we expend all day long is all the effort that we're expending to hold on. When you go with the river, there's no effort. But when you resist the river, swim upstream, it's a lot of work. So when you stop When you let go, you just go with the flow. There's no effort. Zero.
See, yesterday I was going through some blockages. And last night through some blockages, and I was forcing, I was pushing,
Is that
and it
some
wasn't
wanting,
happening.
was that some wanting to control the process?
Yes, very much so. And
Okay, see if you can become aware of that now.
it's hard. I can't
Yeah, you may
get
have
over
released
it.
it already. Oh, you just let it go anyway.
I did.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Terrific.
I don't have any of those feelings that I had
Good. I guess you get 2 more checks.
Yeah, I got those there.
Okay. My approval was just Monday. I held a leadership class, and in the business that I'm in, my husband and I were at the top levels of our group, and so it was basically our leadership class that we were holding, and so I was wanting approval from. We're into edifying each other, and so I was wanting approval from the people that were there for the job that I was going to be doing in the class.
There it goes.
Anyway. I think I had released quite a bit of that, so.
Okay, just check to see if there's any more. Just put yourself back in that situation and see if you can become aware more of that want. Or is it released?
I think it's gone.
Okay, so give yourself, I guess that's a 2-checker. Okay, what was the control one?
Okay, Saturday night, this also deals with my business. We were planning for the leadership class on Monday, and the person that is directly underneath us in line, it's like a line of people, she gave her opinion of what she felt needed to take place at that meeting, and
there it goes.
Oh, I really thought I'd released on that one before, but
It might be a little wet. No, that's why you just check.
Anyway. Okay.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, another 2-checker.
I hope you don't mind if I continue to release throughout this.
No, you can. I certainly don't mind.
I don't know, it's so fun this way. It's better than crying.
Yeah.
And those of you at home, just get comfortable and pick something off of your list that either stirred up, a specific time. That stirred up your wanting approval or wanting to control. And when you think of that time, just allow yourself to be aware of whatever want it stirs up. Could you allow it to release? And just see if there's any more of it there. Whichever want it is. And could you allow yourself to let it go? And think of that specific time again. And see which want is there now. Is it the wanting approval? Or the wanting to control? And could you let go of either wanting approval or wanting to control? Just focus on that again, whichever want it was. And could you allow it to release? Think of that specific time again. Just allow yourself to be aware of whatever want is right there now about that. Whatever it is, could you let it go? And just check again. See if there's any more of that want there, or of the other. And could you allow it to release? You're probably feeling a lot better about that time or incident now. So give yourself a check in the let go column and the feel good. And let's just focus on another specific. So pick something else off of your list. Another time that stirred up your wanting approval or wanting to control. And if you're more aware of a feeling there first, that's okay. But just trace it to that underlying want. And now that you're aware of that, could you allow it to release? And just check again. Just allow yourself to be aware of more of that there. Could you allow yourself to let it go? Think of that specific again. And just see what want is there right now in the moment. Could you let it go? And just check. See if there's any more there. Could you allow it to release? Now I'm going to let you continue on your own, but do make sure that you continue to completion. Just making sure and carrying on releasing until you feel good about that specific time, that specific instance. And then make a note of it in your gains book.
Well, this brings us to the conclusion of this tape. And I just want to let you know that if you're still having a little difficulty at adapting to the wanting approval and wanting to control, we're in a transition phase. If you see that you slip back to focusing on feelings, or you feel more comfortable identifying a feeling first, don't worry about that. As you practice, you'll see that it gets easier and easier to just go right to the wanting approval and wanting to control. And the more you do that, the faster you'll move. Also, get in the habit of making releasing constant. The more you practice releasing throughout your day, you'll be moving forward more quickly. And also, if the bigger issues come up, if life presents you with a real challenge and you've been releasing that whole day or for a long period of time, and then something unexpected happens, you'll be right there ready to just let go of whatever is brought up. And also, if you notice that you have a tendency to want to kind of slip back to the way you were before, don't worry about it. It's a normal thing. If you remember last week I talked about the fisherwoman, there's also another story that kind of illustrates that. As you can tell, I like to tell stories. But we're in a little way, we're all a little like caged birds. It's again a funny, I guess it's a funny analogy, but what we're doing on these tapes is we're learning we have the key now to get out of the cage. Now at first, last weekend at first we had the cage door open, and sometimes you were probably staring at it going, I don't know if I even want to go out. It's like, I know I can get out of this cage, but I don't know if I want to do it. You know, you might have noticed that this week as you were practicing the technique, that at times, you know, you knew you could let go, and you said, forget it, I'm not going. I'm staying in the cage. I don't care if there's poop this high in the cage. I'm staying here, I'm used to it. And then what happens as you keep practicing with the technique, as you keep letting go, you'll start to fly out of the cage. And you go, wow, this feels really great. But then you go, wait a minute, it's unfamiliar out here, I better go back in, and you'll find yourself rushing back into the cage and slamming the door. But again, that's okay. Again, it's a normal part of the process because you now have the key. The release technique is the key to that cage, the key to open that door. So even if you find yourself running back into the cage, you'll have the key to get out. And as you keep doing it, you'll get comfortable. And you'll say, you know what, enough with the cage. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to allow myself to have the new freedom. I'm going to allow myself to have that imperturbability. So if you notice yourself occasionally going back, don't worry about it. Also, you might have noticed this week, as you've been practicing the technique, that occasionally your friends or relatives got a little nervous seeing you flying outside of the cage. They're going, wait a minute, I'm still in the cage. What are you doing out there? And they probably, at times, they may have even tried to do things to get you to fly back into your cage. Now, if that happens, don't worry about it. It's again normal for people around you that first feel a little threatened because, hey, you know, they were used to you being in that little confined box. But as you keep letting go and you keep releasing, you'll see that they'll go, wait a minute, what are you doing? How can I get out of my cage? And they'll want to join you. So just to remember to allow it to be easy, keep focusing on the wanting approval and wanting to control. Practice, 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 release, release, release. And now let's take a break and give you some time to focus on your releasing.